So I'd love if you could tell a little bit about what you do, and why it's so important.
I guess I'm in a really open-ended program, so I can now, after having done all the things that I don't want to do and jumping through the hoops for like science and math, I can actually be in control of what I want to do. And so, like for my first semester, I had an elective and I took sculpture. And I'm still working on it, but it's like a giant millipede puppet that's operated by three people from underneath. I guess just being able to use my imagination to make things happen and make my reality more interesting is what I like about it.
And is it like something you always wanted to do, or was it like different in high school? Would you imagine yourself then how you're now?
I think I've always known that I gravitated toward the arts. I think that my idea of what that can be has expanded more and more as I've just experimented more and learned more.
And also, like, you did a lot of traveling, and I personally want to travel a lot after school, maybe before college too. So maybe like it would be really interesting to just like get to know where you traveled, how that has influenced you and your work.
I traveled a lot like when I was younger because my grandparents used to travel and they would bring me with them. And I think that instilled me with kind of an adventurous
Mhm.
spirit. And then, as far as my adult travels go, I've been to India,
Oh.
Bulgaria, Turkey, and Canada. Yeah, I think that they've really influenced me, just been exposed and lived in other modes of existence other than just kind of like working 40 hours a week and going to the grocery store and
Right.
sleeping and eat, doing school and just kind of having this treadmill thing going on. And it's one thing to kind of hear about that and read about it and where people are really like milking the goats and making a yogurt from them in order to eat. It's a different experience for
Yeah.
sure.
Things that you've seen while you were traveling. Is there like any one country or one place that has like really impact or influenced you a lot? Because like maybe you saw something or experienced something that was just really amazing.
Well, they all are impressive in their own way because they all have a totally different way of orienting you to your surroundings and your everyday life, and they have a different pace. And
Yeah.
there's always, I think, a culture shock. You know, in India, one of the things that kind of stood out to me, one of many things, was like the traffic is just different. It's like you
Yeah.
don't pay attention
It's crazy.
to, like, there's no point for there even to be lights or stop signs or anything, but it works. And that's what's interesting about it to me, is that there's a different way that places flow and find a way to get along.
Could you maybe also tell a little more about your like thesis project? Because once we read about it, we were like really interested. If you like, you could just expand on that.
Yeah, it's been really rapidly changing. I don't even know where it was when I wrote about it to you, but right now I've been kind of going around campus and finding a lot of areas that are sort of neglected and have maybe lots of trash in them, or just like an abandoned vehicle or something. I'm doing like mini installations in them. And then at my main gallery space, like the official space, I'm going to have maps and decoders and things to get people to go out into the environment and interact with them in different ways. So I'll have like a radio receiver that's tuned to a certain frequency. So when you get close to the sites, it'll kind of have different radio stations that I've recorded myself that are on a loop transmitting from those places, and have little blinking blue lights that I'm matching to the color scheme of the school, which is blue. And so it's kind of blending in, but in sort of DIY aesthetic way. Like I'm taking over a bus right now. There's this abandoned bus, school bus, and
Okay.
inside of it I'm pasting posters that I create on the wall of just pictures of things that I've taken from around campus. And I'm going to do like a pop-up art gallery in there, and then
Oh,
take
wow.
documentation of that, and then at my thesis show have pictures of the pop-up show up as own exhibit.
So why was this something you kind of wanted to look into?
Well, for me, it comes from a reaction to I really don't like it here. I don't like the way that everything is just sort of like thrown off to the side of the road to be forgotten. And it just creates this really junky, sort of fast-paced consumerist thing that like puts people on, like, there's more road here than there is sidewalk, I'm sure. And like it just feels like you can find these hidden enclaves, sort of oasis, like an oasis away from that.
I think like one of the most interesting things could be like your advice to us, or maybe like to different high schoolers, because I feel like we're so into like this mind concept that you do school, 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 you do the best subject where you can earn the most money, and then do college, a master's degree and whatnot. So maybe like some general advice, because it's always nice to hear that.
In terms of like going for the thing that makes the most money, I don't think that that's necessarily the best. I think it should be about what is sustainable for you. And I'm not like one of those people who says you should only do just what you love. It's just a matter of what kind of lifestyle you want to have. And so for me, I've thought about it a lot, and I think that being a professor and having the time off in the summer, and even if I'm not like making loads of money, I'll be able to have a pretty decent lifestyle. I'll be able to probably own a home, have time to work on the projects that I want to have, and have a positive impact on people. But some people, they want material things more, and that's fine. And they might find a way to do what they love and also make a lot of money doing that. Or they might decide, I'm going to work really hard at something that I can tolerate, even though I don't love it, and then retire early. But for me, I just think finding something that's, given the options that I have, it's the most sustainable for me. Because if I were to try to force myself to learn programming or something, it's going to take too much of a mental toll on me, and I'm going to, if I don't like it, just feel like I'm not living my truth.
Thank you so much for this interview. I think I really just learned a lot.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's like always nice to hear something like not always the right way path. Like there's so many right ways. There isn't only one right way, and like the ways could be totally different. So it's always interesting to talk to people who are like open-minded and everything. So I think that helped really. And yeah, thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good one.